What is up, everybody? Welcome on into this edition of Warchant TV. We are jam-packing your YouTube feed, folks. Mike Norvell, Kenny Dillingham, Jay Sean Corbin, Amari Gaynor, Jordan Travis have all spoke. Their videos available on YouTube, and now you want to get the summary of what all was said. So Ira Schoffel and Gene Williams are here for you, folks. Use the promo code. What is it? FSU Spring 2021, Gene? 50% off membership and a $25 e-card?
That's it, buddy, man. Get it while it lasts, man, because it'll hey, that's basically a $75 value that you're paying $50 for, so can't go wrong with that.
Also hit the thumbs up button if you don't feel like opening up your wallet, which is totally fine. We'll take the thumbs up too as well. All right, gentlemen, so we spoke to all those gentlemen that I just discussed. I guess I'll start with you first, Ira. I know you'll probably be writing something off of this. I guess one of the sort of prevailing themes, at least for me, I don't know if you agree or not, but what a difference a year makes. At least that's what Florida State fans are hoping, right?
Yeah, and Corey's actually writing that as we speak. That'll be up on the website maybe by the time this posts or a little bit after. But yeah, I mean, I really think that was kind of the biggest takeaway. I think the fact that, there's so many different ways that this football team is in a different place than it was a year ago, from having a consistent coaching staff, a consistent system, offensive, defensive systems, the same position coaches year to year. The guys they know what to expect. I mean, one of the Amari Gaynor made the comment. I think it was Amari, it might have been Jay Sean Corbin, just knowing when to have their helmet on, when to take their helmet off in practice. I mean, all the expectations. And Mike Norvell said that a year ago, that first day of spring practice, they or it might have been Kenny Dillingham, said that they couldn't even get through that first practice at the tempo they needed to. They had to kind of stop and regroup. And this year they were able to get through it. So those are some of the ways. I think the attitudes. This time of year, it's easy and convenient for everybody. Every team in America can talk about how much more they like each other and how much more that they're a family. But I really got the sense it seemed genuine from Jordan Travis and the other guys talking about it. It seems like the chemistry, camaraderie, and all that is a lot better. All that does is kind of get you in the mindset to do the work. But from that standpoint, it sounds like they're in a much better place in year two than year one, which you'd certainly expect.
Gene, was there anything that's sort of a common thread that kind of wove together through everybody we spoke to? Again, the head football coach, the offensive coordinator, presumptive perhaps returning quarterback, running back and linebacker, anything that sort of caught your ear and seemed to be a common theme?
Well, there's a lot of excitement. I'll just say on the whole, it's hard not to sit through that. And hopefully you're watching the videos on Warchant TV on YouTube. It's hard to watch those and not be kind of excited and optimistic about the upcoming season. And we've heard it before. The last regime seemed to be excited. A lot of things didn't pan out. But man, these guys are saying the right things. Just listen to Jordan Travis, who traditionally is, he doesn't say a whole lot. He seemed like a different person. He even admitted that he was uncomfortable last season at times going out there. And he's not anymore. And Ira pointed out, and Kenny Dillingham pointed out, every guy on this team, maybe outside of Bavion, has had a different coach on offense, different coordinator, different system. And this is the first time they've had a whole year with the same staff in a full off season to work together and everything else. So it makes a huge difference to me to see those things. So yeah, to see a guy like Jordan Travis kind of come out of his shell all of a sudden since the last time we talked to him, to me, that speaks a lot of where this team is at compared to a few months ago.
Ira, you mentioned it. Every program in the country is talking about how they got bigger, faster, stronger, grew closer together this offseason. We could probably hear that from any number of Power 5 programs you would hear, and you expect to hear that. Was there anything unexpected or surprising that caught you? I mean, for me, I think Gene kind of pointed out. Jordan Travis went off the Russell Wilson script. He was a little bit more human, I felt like. Was there anything that caught you by surprise when we spoke to the coaches and players on Tuesday evening?
Yeah, that's a good point. He did seem very genuinely excited and not just kind of going through the motions when he was talking to us. The biggest surprise to me, I think, just was the way that Mike Norvell went out of his way to single out Darius Washington, almost like he was apologizing for not bringing him up when we spoke to him on Friday and talking about some of the guys that have really impressed them in this offseason. And that's not to say I didn't expect Darius Washington to be a positive force, because he's a guy that's everybody's liked since he's been here. He started a few games as a true freshman in 2019. But I thought last year a lot of us came away, I know I certainly did, kind of disappointed maybe in what we saw out of him, because he did play some as a true freshman. And so he comes back last year and you think, well, man, this guy, he could be really something special in his first full season as a starter and really had a lot of struggles. But then you think about the fact that he was coming back from a shoulder surgery, didn't, really had to work that whole offseason just to get back into game shape and to being able to play. And the way they've talked about him, from him to Kenny Dillingham to other players, it sounds like he's just taking his game to a completely different level in terms of the weight he can lift now, how much stronger he is. I think that's one of the big things with those shoulder surgeries is they miss so much time in the weight room. So even if he's a good athlete, he had a hard time kind of manning up physically. I think that was one of the big things. And to give you a little compliment, Aslan, you don't get these many often from me, so I'm going to give you one here. You called it last year going into the season. You were questioning how Darius Washington, Keyshawn Helton, Hamza Nasruddin, those guys coming off of surgeries would do in year one. And it sounds like Keyshawn Helton, Darius Washington, and some of those guys who are coming off of surgeries really are ready to make a jump in year two. And that's definitely a pleasant, not a surprise, but definitely something good to hear.
You could throw Jayshawn Corbin into that
yeah.
too, right?
Right, 100%.
Gene, for you, what kind of caught you by surprise or maybe stood out a little bit more than other things?
Well, let's go to the other side. Let's talk a little defense here. And that was the little bit we didn't get to talk to Adam Fuller. Hopefully, I think the next time we get interviews, we'll be able to talk to him and flesh that out a little bit more. But there was a little bit of talk about defense, some interesting things. First, to me, the most encouraging thing through every press conference had to be Mike Norvell saying Jermaine Johnson, quote unquote, was very explosive. That's got to be music to the ears of Florida State fans, where there was zero pass rush last year. If he can be that guy off the edge, it can totally change the dynamic of the defense this season. To me, that was very encouraging. Then here, Amari Gainer, who's up to 235 pounds. And to me, it's what, Aslan, you and I talked about this back when we did the linebacker preview. Will they kind of slide him in to be that one of those two starters along with Rice? The fact that he's put on weight, he said he was working at the will position, working on inside concepts, tells me they want to get their best linebackers on the field, those two guys. So it seems to me they're going to lean on Amari Gainer more this year. And again, he's one of your better athletes. I think you have to have him out on defense. So a couple of encouraging signs for the defense. Looking forward to hearing Adam Fuller and what he has to say to expand on this a little bit more on Thursday.
Yeah, I liked all those. I mean, Amari, I think, is a guy that usually just would, I don't want to say go through the motions, but wasn't maybe the most forthcoming, young man who would speak to him. And, he mentioned the fact that, it's a different mindset for the defense. It's more aggressiveness, something that he thinks fits the bill for him better. Jordan Travis, you mentioned it, Gene, kind of him being a little bit more forthcoming. And I like the fact that they, and I'm not the hokey guy, really. I'm more like, nuts and bolts, let's get down to business. But just to hear these guys, how excited they are to come into the facility every day, the body language. I think that's the kind of stuff that you will see, pay dividends as things sort of grind away through the spring and then in the summer and then hopefully once fall rolls around. Any last you, Ira?
Yeah, I was just going to say on that point about Amari Gainer, you even kind of gave him an out a little bit when you asked him about the defense and is it going to be different this year or is it just getting better at what you did last year? And he kind of said, no, it's going to be different. He said, we're going to be more aggressive. We're going to really kind of, just sounded like they're going to be much more forcing the issue, which was kind of what Adam Fuller, kind of talked about going into last season. So maybe, that's just maybe they couldn't do what they wanted to do because they lost all that time in the offseason. So they kind of came up with some adaptation to what they wanted to do. I mean, we'll see. We'll see as we talked to Adam Fuller. We're getting to watch some of practice on Thursday. We didn't get to watch practice today. We're going to get to watch some of the practice on Thursday and Friday, it looks like. So that'll be helpful. Then we'll hear more from Adam Fuller. But the fact that he kind of jumped on that chance to say, no, it is going to be different. We're going to have a different approach. That has to make fans be a little bit more optimistic about that defense.
Gene, you got your binoculars ready for Thursday?
Oh, man. I have my giant lens. It's not going to get to be used, unfortunately. But, man, I will be squinting a little bit. I don't know. We may have to fight for a little pole position out there because I don't know if we're allowed to have all of us out there at the same time. I know the Coracle himself is making the ride down from Atlanta just because he wants to attend the practice. So if we're limited to two of us, if Corey's going to come all the way down from Atlanta, I'll probably give him dibs at least for one of those days.
Yeah, so that's going to be super cool. Again, they'll be practicing on Thursday afternoon. Selected media will be available to view the practice. We won't have photos and video, but Ira or Corey, Gene, some configuration of us four in limited numbers will be out there to to relay what we've seen and kind of share the insight and the knowledge of Florida State football. That promo code is scrolling at the bottom of the screen. Again, it's FSU Spring 2021. If you've ever thought about maybe joining Warchant, this is a great time to do so. 50% off an annual membership and a $25 e-card to Garnet and Gold. Gentlemen, thanks for the insight. Let's keep doing these.
Looking forward to it,
man.
guys.
Looking forward to Thursday.